I recorded this lesson yesterday, but then when I was listening to the playback, I heard that my leather belt was making a squeaking noise the whole time. Really distracting. So I'm just going to record it again. This is going to be a quick lesson on a simplified finger picking style for Don't Think Twice. It's all right. I'm going to simplify it a bit, starting with the chords and then the finger picking style that's going to go over every one of those chords. This is going to be fretting all the notes, doing the full chords, and not doing any finger picking style over that. So I'll put the chord names on the screen as it's going over the song. Starting with C. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. And it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, you'd never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm a-traveling on. Don't think twice, it's all right. Pretty common chords. You'll notice that I'm doing the full chords, even though the finger picking style that I'm going to be teaching today isn't going to hit all the chords. Don't worry about that, because when you start improvising a little bit with the finger picking style, if you have the full chord fretted out, then you can move your hands along the strings and you can choose a different string and it's going to be okay because it's in the chord already. And the picking pattern that I use for this is a pretty close variation of Travis picking. Travis picking is a picking pattern that you have to learn if you want to play folk guitar. It's probably the most common and the most adaptable picking style to almost any song. Almost every song that I play, I do some sort of variation on Travis picking. Let's take a look at the first, or the middle four chords, the middle four strings. And we'll do it with a C. And when you're playing a C with those four strings, you can do the outside, then the inside. Outside, inside. Probably one of the simplest ways to think of Travis picking is an alternating bass line with your thumb, and then the upper strings doing something in response to that. So if you go outside in, that's going to be thumb, and then the index and middle finger. You could do an inside out. I like to think of it as more of a alternating 1 3 2 4 1 3 2 4 1 3 2 4 1 3 2 4. And then you can do a pinch, which is and that's where you're hitting the two outside and then alternating 2 3 1 4 2 3. There's a really famous song that uses that one. That'll be for another time. The one that I do for Don't Think Twice, It's All Right is a bit of a variation on the outside in, because I leave off the first outside and then I do the rest. Sticking with the variable thumb pattern or the alternating thumb bass pattern, I like to think of it as the thumb hitting two bass notes for any chord that you're playing. So if you're playing a C, you're hitting these two for the bass. If you're playing an A, stay on the same strings. And then when you're playing a G, you move just from the A to the E. So I would suggest with any chords that you're playing, practice them with alternating bass notes with the thumb. And when you start getting used to the thumb moving back and forth, you start grooving the thumb and the chords in a familiar way. And that's going to really help when you see the chords on the notation and then you just decide to pick along with it. Your thumb's automatically going to go to where the bass notes are for that chord. So you're not going to accidentally, for instance, do an E on a C, because C doesn't usually get that E in the bass. So let's see what it sounds with just the thumb alternating over the chords. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, now. And it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, you'd never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's all right. That comes from just grooving that thumb to the chords. Now let's take a look at the right hand picking pattern that I play over these chords. I'm going to be using the thumb, the index, and the middle finger. Those are the only fingers that I'm using to pick. The C, A is going to be the same exact pattern on those same strings. G is going to be the only difference is that the thumb, instead of going from the A to the D, is going from the E to the D. F, the same as the G. And the inverted D. And then when you go from the C to the C7, because you have the right hand picking interesting things, it sounds a little more like a complicated change than it really is. So that right hand pattern I like to think of as 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Also, if you're thinking about the names of the fingers, the thumb, index, and middle, It's thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb. And that's going to work on every single chord through the entire song. So going kind of slowly over that. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. And it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. Grooving it a little bit, you can pick up the speed. It ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. And it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. That's the really simplified version. It'll go through the whole song with that same picking style. Think of it as 1, 1 and 2 and 3 in, P, P-I, P-M, P-I. I then add some walk-ups and walk-downs between, and then I add a little bit of pinch Travis picking. That's something that once you get confident with this picking style, you start playing around, and that's why I do the full chords with my left hand, so that when I start playing around with my right hand, those notes are ready for me. Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now. And it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, it'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. You can even start adding the A finger. That's for you to play with. Practice it. Hope it helps.